Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Paul Hall, Chocolate Sane, 10th Man, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yo. Good morning.
Any signs of a physical geometric sphere edge, formerly known as Earth curve?
Not from every corner of my property.
Not from Skyrim.
Anywhere else not from?
Not from Earth.
Well,
Not from Earth.
Not
That's
from
a good
Earth,
one.
thank you.
That's a good one. That's the best one to date, Chocolate. Kudos. I didn't expect that.
that's-
Not from Earth. Yeah, you're right. In a model on paper. Not on Earth, though. Right on. Any evidence of
Can't top
axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
not from Earth.
Not on Earth.
I had to get one.
Any more for any more? Axial rotation. It's been topic of the day for the last couple of, maybe the last week even. No, clearly not. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Not from Earth. I mean, we can answer them all that way, I think.
Will this cover every question? I don't think so. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
I'm tempted.
No, I don't.
Not
'Cause-
on Earth.
well, that would imply there was some scientific validity elsewhere. There isn't.
Not according to Rumpus.
Fill me in. Fill me in, Neil. What do you mean?
I said not according to Rumpus. He's got scientific evidence of gravity.
No, he doesn't. He'll say he has experiments, and then when asked what he's got, he'll give a example of an observation that air gets thinner as you go up. That'll be about it. Not an experiment, merely an observation. Doesn't prove Earth's anything. Hey, Adam. Hey, Righteous. Good to have you both.
Afternoon.
Hey again.
Perfect timing for Adam's presence. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Arrived at the right time then. No.
Can I-
Before you move too far away from the gas pressure issue, where
haven't
is
got there
height in the gas pressure ideal gas law? Where's height in there?
We haven't got
do
to
that in
gas
the
pressure yet,
formulation.
Paul. You're jumping the gun, mate. We haven't got there yet. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container? Hey, what do you know? We're there now.
There you go, Paul.
I guess I'm jumping. Yeah, I'm jumping again. So where is height in the gas law? Just wondering. Can somebody show me that in the equation?
It's not there. Certainly not a variable.
Where is weight in the gas law? That's another one.
That's
weight.
not there either. It's just volume.
Man, you've learned a lot since you got that air fryer.
And it's contained. It has to be contained. There you go.
Hey, Arwin. Good to have you.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good
Hey,
afternoon.
Arwin.
Full power again.
Where were we? Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Not from Nottingham.
It's not.
Not since I saw your new intro.
Any
Not
samples
from
of this
Nottingham.
molten iron?
I can get you a sample.
Is it real?
Molten iron is real.
But was it from really deep down?
If I say it is, will that be acceptable?
No.
No, I'm sorry, Arwin. I can't provide you any molten iron from the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. That's something nobody can achieve.
It would be quite the trickery claim, though. It's like, oh wow, yes, we've managed to get really deep down, and we actually got a sample of the molten iron core here. Look, just like the moon rock, you know. They could go for it.
I like the argument for the moon rock when they talk about the petrified wood, because they compared it to rocks they claim they found in Antarctica, and therefore, because they're the same as the rocks they've compared in Antarctica, their claim is that they could have only come from the moon. It's like, what? Because they're only available on the moon when you've got some to compare them to from Antarctica? What the hell? You undone your own argument with this. But there we go, that's their justification. We found some in Antarctica. They definitely came from the moon, and we've compared them to the ones that we say came from the moon when we travelled through a second law of thermodynamics sky vacuum. Violation, sky vacuum.
Would that be circular reasoning?
It would be
Don't they
circular
mix
reasoning.
that up with the whole little story of what was it, Thea? That came here, it hit the Earth, and then caused pieces of it to coalesce into the moon. So wouldn't that
What?
actually? What
But-
you mean? What, man? You've heard the story.
Yeah, but
Come on.
but that would mean that when Ethia hit, that there would already been wood in order to petrify and then end up on the moon.
I don't think that's part of the actual narrative. The fact that it turned out to be petrified wood isn't necessarily part of the narrative, but their narrative, as Chocolate's detailing, is that the moon and Earth are essentially the same, because we've got a combination of a planet called Thea that was claimed to smash into us, and the debris, because it only hit at a glancing blow, not destroying the fledgling Earth, coalesced into something they could now call the moon, and therefore the moon is made of the surface layer that was smashed off by Thea when it deposited its molten iron core, isn't that lucky, into Earth. So it nicely ties up with the timelines of it not cooling down already, like everything else, according to them, in their bullshit world of rocks in the sky. Vacuum has. So there we go, that's their explanation.
This
Well, how
analogy,
does
Nate.
I got a question
Is it-
about that.
Well,
Oh,
I'm
you
a
go.
bit confused on the analogy because you're saying it seems it seems like going right. I've just eaten a beef burger, right? And it had 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions in a sesame seed bun. And because I've got all that detailed information, I can definitely confirm that it was from Burger King.
Right. Yeah, I got a question about that story about Ethia, right? So, can you give a demonstration of a liquid ball of something smashing into a solid ball rock and then ending up in the middle of that?
No.
How does that work? Usually it should be the other way around. The
No.
solid displaces the liquid. It's just
You're placing way too high a burden on
works.
this.
It works
Hold
because
on.
they made it up like that.
Exactly, they made it up like that. You're placing way too high a burden of proof on this just so made up story that couldn't ever be justified or proven in any way, shape or form, and is reliant on there being a sky vacuum for all these rocks to fly around in. Well, none of that works, but, you know, it's only true because they made it up themselves.
Well, the thing about those rebellious gas particles, they're starting to get comfortable. They're starting to kind of start settling in. We've decided not to go into outer space. Then all of a sudden, this massive pushing into our environment, and it heats us up very much so. And we're going like, we don't want to leave. Please leave us here. Come on.
I'm still can't let this one go. Like, the only way I could conceive that could happen, theoretically, presuppositionally into infinity, would be that the Earth was not a rock, but actually more like a ball of dust, and that it just gave way to the liquid and then ended up
Why don't we call
going
it junk?
around it and then maybe melting a little, turning into rock. Maybe that's the way it happened.
Maybe it's a giant Hackensack.
Right. Although I don't know how a ball of dust that would be hit with something, would probably explode in all directions. Like, how would the gravity then draw it back again? That's a difficult
No.
one.
You missed the glancing blow. That's the crucial detail of this made-up story.
I like to respond to Chocolate. It seems like prior to Chocolate's statement, we knew that the location was Antarctica. Now it's New Jersey.
Hack and sack, yeah.
Been some reasonable discourse on the molten iron core recently. I mean, we went 6, 8, 12 months with literally never getting an answer about it. Probably since Paul Voigt. It's probably like 2+ years. And then in the last couple of months, we've just, talked a little bit about it. Thea's come up a couple of times in the housekeeping. It's good. It's the most preposterous part of this section of the show, right? Housekeeping has got some poignant points that are being made, some questions that are being asked that are clearly unanswerable based on how they're being phrased, like how can you have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container? The word antecedent answers the question. But nevertheless, the molten iron core is the most preposterous part of this show, in my opinion. It's ludicrous. It's still taught to kids, though. Most people still believe this shit.
But how else are they supposed to explain volcanoes, even though it doesn't explain volcanoes?
Yeah, right on. How do you explain? Well, yeah, that's not anything to do with volcanoes, but if you're a normie that doesn't have a clue about heliocentrism, you might assert that volcanoes have something to do with molten iron core. They don't.
Well, it does make kind of sense that would be the reason, just as why, Coriolis effect is all about the Earth spinning, even though there's no signs of the Earth spinning kind of situation. So it does really fit down the same lane of train of thinking.
Even if it was true, what the hell would be the mechanism that would just keep creating this molten iron and having this lava come up out of the ground? Like, what the hell?
Geothermic heat, maybe a little has to do with it. Also,
Do we have to
there is
dissect?
some.
Hold on. Do we have to dissect something that isn't part of their rhetoric?
Nah, we don't. No, we don't. I'm just thinking how preposterous it is.
But to be fair, like there is something like geothermic heat. Now, of course, a molten iron core is not going to explain that, but it would fit as a reason to give as to why that even exists. Because why does that exist? Why is there
It
geothermic
doesn't,
heat?
Owen. There's a land of dinosaurs under there.
What?
The land
Dinosaur
of
slavery?
the lost.
But I thought we were past slavery. We now enslave the dinosaurs deep down there to, like Arnold Schwarzenegger's go pushing
Hello.
Oh,
wheels?
did you never watch
Done.
Land of the Lost?
We're still doing housekeeping.
How
Hello.
can you say that Hollow Earth isn't real? How can
we're
you
still
even
doing
say that Hollow
housekeeping.
Earth is not real?
Are you actually going to argue for Hollow Earth in regards to molten iron core?
They should. Why would you not believe it?
Hollow Earth?
Things like caverns and huge passageways.
This is a first. Feel free to argue for Hollow Earth. Be my guest.
There may be
I think that's
subterranean.
like the oldest
though.
thing they ever argued for was like hell and all that stuff below in these deep like they had religions and civilizations.
Okay, can you show it us?
So
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
but it's not completely made up. You don't have to believe me. I'm not.
It's not
but
completely made up. I don't
it
have to believe you. Okay, can you show it me? Is that a possibility?
Well, I'm talking about the idea exists.
Let me just check something. Are you actually a proponent of Hollow Earth? Or are you just putting it out there because it hasn't been talked about?
Well, both.
Both. Bit of both. You're a bit of a proponent of Hollow Earth. You like the idea.
It's not bad.
Just-
It makes sense at least. Like you could make an argument.
But
Yeah.
Hollow Earth is ball based, right? You know that.
Yeah, like Dick Earth is...
No, it could be flat. It could absolutely be flat. And
But then
still
it's not hollow. Then
Have you-
you shouldn't call it hollow.
Hold on,
Just
Owen.
subterranean.
Can everyone
It could
stop?
be
Hold on. Everyone shut up. I just want to hear this guy. What's your name? Sorry. Is it Sing? I can't quite read it.
Synclins. Yeah, it's could be hollow and flat.
Sink
That's-
learn, sir. Okay. Yeah, keep going. Tell us more.
Well, it's not an original idea that if you could have a flat surface and it be hollow under.
We could, but what validity do you have? That's the bit I really want to hear. What leads you to believe this could be in any way valid?
Caves in
As valid as
Bulgaria.
any other religion. It's the same belief. It comes from the same idea. Like, they can't test these core, but you could probably have one on a flat Earth.
Historically, you've got all things like the Hopi religion. Lots of ancient races do discuss that being our origin. You've then got all the QAnon stuff and all the David Icke stuff. But as for any actual evidence, I think the only evidence I would cite is Hopi tradition, that we came from the bowels of the earth after a cataclysm.
Wasn't Byrd a proponent of Hollow Earth also? Admiral Byrd?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. There's some ties.
The Nazis
See,
also.
I don't know about that though.
There
Of
are
course.
heard
subterranean
different
caverns.
conflating stories with that story about the Hollow Earth thing, that was something that he didn't actually write himself.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. There's conflating stories about that.
Correct. I'd like to add something about. I was really into this, and how I see it now, it's just subterranean caverns, and there's quite a few of them, and more to be discovered. But one that's pretty much on record is the one in Bulgaria. It's a huge set of caverns down there, and they don't even know how far they go down at this point.
Absolutely.
So
They have like
Yeah,
oceans.
I'm all
just
for
one
that
location.
idea. Like, yeah, caves and caverns and giant holes in the ground. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
But
but
just
like
being a
seaweed.
hollow Earth.
Hold on.
That I'm
We
not.
know we've got those, though. We know we've got those. That's not what Hollow Earth is, though, is it? We know we've got caves and caverns.
Right. Yeah, Hollow Earth was basically put on top of that to suggest that there's like an inside-out world on the inside of a globe kind of thing.
So what you're saying is it's just a
But
ham-handed segue into concave Earth. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, it
Well,
was
it's a
like a
religious-
halfway in between concave idea. But it was like a concave with an outside layer as well. So it was still very heliocentric. Like that.
I would like to circle
It
back to
could be-
the
Hold on, Paul.
spinning Earth.
Hold on, Paul. The guy who's actually brought this subject up is trying to get a word in. Go ahead, mate.
What I'm saying is that our oldest understandings of Earth was that it was flat and it was hollow. Like, all religions had a conception of hell underground in these things, and it's just they're mutually exclusive. Like, they.
You mean mutually inclusive, right?
What did I
Because
say?
some of the
Yeah,
monsters that are in there, like the golem creatures. Miss
Hold
of
on.
that.
So far we've got.
There could be. I can't.
But so far you've said in religious texts. So yes, okay. I've seen pictures of Sheol and read about it in religious texts. But okay, but what else beyond that?
Well, they're saying that there's like some sort of heat source in the Earth. I don't know. They call it hell. They call it many different things, but we can't really even test that or go down that deep apparently. So
That's a bit of a
it can't
problem.
Well,
That's the
it's
problem.
described
Well, it
that
can't be
there's a cloud hanging around there that emanates light just if it was the sun, so they say, but it isn't literally like a light point. It's weird. That's what I heard from the stories.
Are you
Why couldn't it
possibly
be like
referring
a
to like
flat
when they
Earth
dug
magnet source?
the super deep cola borehole
No,
and
no,
Oh,
they
and look
got
at my
that?
screen.
no, it has nothing to do with that.
Hold on. Go ahead, Adam. I've got
I'm
you
not
up.
talking to you. I'm talking to the guy.
Oh,
Chocolate
sorry.
and Arwin. Can you just hold on 1 second? Go ahead, Adam.
Yep.
If you look on screen, I've got the Agartha model with the central sun where the molten iron core would be, and then you've got the reverse inlay of land on the inside where gravity then reverses. So what becomes down and down becomes up in the kind of hollow Earth.
So it is. It's a
But that's
segue to. It's a segue to concave then.
Map.
It's just a
So
segue.
this is also followed. This model is the one that's with the Norwegian fisherman that enters at the top, goes through the lands of the giants at the top, traverses through and then comes back out on a ball at the south celestial pole at the exit point at the bottom on this. So that's
there's a full reading of
That
that
could also
on.
happen on a rectangular looping Earth, by the way.
Hold on, Arwin. There's a full reading of that story on the Morgars channel, so he's done a complete reading of the book. So check it out. I can't remember the title of it. Can you remember the title?
that's gone. Yeah.
No? Can anyone remember the title?
Beyond the Poles.
Was it Beyond the Poles?
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Mm.
Or Journey Beyond the North or something.
I can't remember. I'd have to look it up, and I can't be doing that right this second. But nevertheless, there's an audio rendition of it on Morgar's channel where he reads out the full story. It's a very, very interesting story, actually. But it's only ever presented as fiction. I don't think it's presented as fact, is it?
It's not disputed.
G. Kincaid.
One at a time.
It's presented as a story of truth with the fact that he's clearly presented as mental when he comes back. So I don't think it purports to be. I think it purports to be his log of his life, as far as I remember. Don't think it purports to be a fictional story. It's questionable, but I don't think it pretends to be fiction. I
mean, he meets these rather Nordic-sounding, giants that are very evolved in terms of their civilization. They're very peaceful people. They've got trade and everything figured out. There's no war. It's just like the antithesis of the kind of world we live in, basically, isn't it? It's all peace and flowers.
Well, that group should have been, at least.
It's like Zion.
Kind of.
Ground.
Well,
they had Nazis. They went to Antarctica. Nazis did. They went.
Well, this is the Arctic that he's travelling to, as opposed to the Antarctic.
Well, they have like Nazi submarines. Apparently, they went into the North Pole and went into the Earth, like into the caverns below or whatever. But they also have them. They say they're at both poles. So.
They were restocking their supply of petrified wood, I think.
Maybe.
Well, there's also been rumored by now that there's a giant cavern entrance at the South Pole somewhere. So that fits right in.
But this isn't anything. It could be still flat, is what I'm saying, is that there's just a whole other level down there.
Well, there might be.
I'm a fan.
It's claimed there is.
G. Kincaid.
Can I forward an alternative to that concept?
You have to.
It might simply be a land section between the north and the south as part of the north-south loop, another realm parallel to this one.
It could be anything.
Okay, but beyond Nazi stories and this maybe true, maybe not true account, is that it? Is it just testimony and propaganda?
Well, it could be propaganda, but it also could be Nazi NASA. It could be the same lineation. It could the same. I don't know.
Well, the problem.
Why would they make it up? Why did I hear about it?
Well, then you go to credibility, then, don't you? If that's the only standard that you've got, the only thing you can assess it on is credibility of source, and that's not going to get you very far in this instance, is it?
Probably, but they can't be making it up. Like, that's a very specific thing to be. We had submarines go into the North Pole, for instance.
And we've got rockets going to space that we can actually apparently witness
doing
it.
NASA, dude. Apparently they've taken.
Well, they mapped the moon as well, supposedly. So
okay, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right either. But I'm just saying the standard at this point is going to be credibility, isn't it?
Nathan, can I just add that the book was The Smoky God, story of Jens Jansen.
Really? The Smoky God?
Oh, the Smoky God.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Fascinating.
Yeah, I did my head in. I had to go and look it up. Smoky God told the purportedly true story of Jens Jansen and his son Olaf, two Norwegian fishermen who had supposedly entered the Hollow Earth in 1829. According to the book, on April the 3rd, Jens and Olaf, who was 19 at the time, left Stockholm in their sailing sloop bound for the Lofoten Islands.
Amazing.
Okay, what was the title again?
Hello?
Because I literally have never
The
heard that.
Smoky God.
The Smoky SMOKY God.
I can't believe that's the title. I listened to that whole story, or Morgul reading it, and I had no idea that was the title. That's
cool.
weird.
Right. I
Weird
know
title.
what you mean, because he named the video Journey Beyond the North Pole or something, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's probably
I think he
the
would
reason.
probably appreciate that the smoky god's not really going to give anyone any inkling about what's actually going to get read out in that video. But there we go. Maybe he changed the title.
Not a great.
You know what? Maybe it was supposed to be like that. Maybe it's called the Smoky God because that way it's not gonna draw a lot of eyes. Like, oh look, guys, I'm having a story about
That's like
something
way too
way
cryptic.
out there like that. So
Just
maybe it was
agree.
hidden like that.
Yeah, that's right, Owen. Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely, I'm right about that. Maybe.
Oh God, I knew that humouring him would be an affirmation of. No, Owen, I'm just humouring you. Yeah, you could be right. Maybe.
Yeah, and that's why I
I'm
reaffirmed.
absolutely right about that. Maybe. Absolutely.
Chocolate gets me.
I'll take that maybe as
My
a
shit
firm
always
yes.
works sometimes.
We've got one last housekeeping question, by the way. If there are any more on the centre of the Earth that we'll never prove and have
Hollow
dicey
Earth
sources.
confirmed.
Oh, yeah. Don't leave me. I got something I want to talk
My
about.
bad, Paul.
You
Go
see
ahead.
You can see my screen. I don't know if anybody's ever done this. This is the hard-boiled egg and the not hard-boiled egg, or raw egg. And this is an inertia experiment. Which egg do you think will continually to spin, and which one will not? You guys remember? Anybody ever done this?
There's a hard-boiled egg and a not hard-boiled egg, and you're asking which one will spin. I would say that the hard-boiled egg has got a greater consistency throughout the egg and therefore will spin better, whereas the one with a liquid core won't, because it will flop around inside the egg. But let's see if I'm right.
Correct.
You are right on. Now, what does molten mean? Does that mean liquefied rock? So that would be a liquid, so to speak, center.
Well, that's
So,
what molten means.
yeah.
They also double speak us and tell us that molten isn't molten. But there we go. They say it's solid. But that aside, yes, molten means molten.
Which means it's liquid rock, which liquid rock is heated up to the point where it can flow. And so that means it has to be a liquid if it can flow, like magma and all this stuff, right? Well, if we're spinning, and this I don't know if you would call this an experiment or not, but they're saying it is an experiment. Why is the Earth spinning if it's molten iron core? Question to the Globers. Why is it still spinning? Because according to this little demonstration, it shouldn't. It should stop spinning after a while.
Yeah, you're opening the floodgates for them to give you a just so story with an immensely long timeline just to justify why something hasn't happened. In other words, you can only get
Paul,
an
are
answer within space and their paradigm, so they could make up anything to answer you, Paul.
Paul, is this your forte into an egg cylinder argument?
It's an experiment.
Yeah, it's an egg experiment. Yes, exactly.
Oh, you guys are cracking me up.
Right, moving on.
I would like to see what how they testify. Just give us some time. Let's let the silence set for a minute. If there's any Globers on Discord, just how do you answer this?
I think they're
just-
scrambled.
Do you want to give the demonstration? Do you want to actually click play? Is it at the right moment?
Yeah, I think so. Hang on a second. I'll keep the sound off and I'll play it just for a second or two. Yeah. I think that's enough, wouldn't it? Is that enough? You get the idea?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. Okay, we've got one last housekeeping question, and then I think there's a few things Tenth Man wants to go through. So, any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Black Swan.
Okay, moving on. So 10th, I've got your picture of the, it looks like two little battleships. Is that the first image?
Yeah, hold on. Let me get to my phone where I can see what you got up. Oh, where'd you go? There you are. Hold on. I was playing through a 2-second commercial. All right, I'm seeing the screen. Yeah, so yesterday, if you can, I'm gonna have to go to my, I can't blow that up. I can't even see it. Let me
Better?
go to the act.
I've made
That's
it
all
a
right.
bit-
I'll get it right here. All right, I got it. So you can see here on measuring angles and altitude, the basics. Here's an actual photograph or not photograph, but an artist rendering of what a boat would do on sea level with the angle to the star. And are you looking at the one with the two battleships, one on top of each other?
Yes.
Okay, so see the bottom one, it shows a zenith directly above, and then the horizon is the sea level. There's only one horizon. There isn't 5 different horizons. Now, if the navigator on this ship is 50 feet above the sea level, that's where the dip correction would come in to factor in before going to the books to see where they are in relationship to the star that is at an angle to the 90-degree right angle there. So the horizon is 0, 90 is the zenith, and whatever your star is, that's where that should be. And if you just read what it says, it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, if you go to one of the other pictures that I put there of the way they show it, which is the one with the circle, observed altitude, visible horizon right above a circle.
Yep, it's on.
All right, so now if you're looking at this, you're saying, wait a minute, how does this work? I mean, we never see the Earth this way in this Muppet vision. And when you're in that boat, as you saw in the previous picture, all you're seeing is this horizon, and it's horizontal. But here, you could see that they've got this 90-degree going to the center of the Earth, and then shooting out to the celestial horizon. Now, none of that has anything to do with how a sextant works, based on the previous picture. You got to be on top of the water, the ocean surface, and it's got to be as far as the horizon is spotted. And you start there because it's very difficult to sight your zenith. But because you're working with the right angle, all you got to do is sight your horizon, and the 90 is your zenith. And then anything in between, the star or luminary, the sun or the moon that you're sighting, you're going to be able to know where you are. So these pictures with a round Earth do not match how sextant works. Now, if you go back to the battleship picture prior to that picture, you could see that it even shows the dip from the guy on top of the battleship. It says dip correction accounts for height above sea level. This is dip correction when using a sextant. Okay, it's not what they keep saying. And I mean, I've heard dip correction for all kinds of stuff, but this is the dip correction. It's just your height from above the boat to the sea level, which is your horizon, further out at 0. It's just as simple. Adam, I know you're familiar with this more than I am. What would you say to all this?
It was something that when me and Savage were looking at moon phases, it's a very interesting, odd thing to introduce because it perverts the reading you take. So you take the reading in reality, and what they try and tell you is no, because you're on a ball, you have to change the angle so that you're actually measuring the angle from the center of the Earth, because you can see all the way over the edge, and the horizon you're seeing is the part of the ball falling away, so you have to calculate from there. Now, to me, that is where they pervert it so that it then fits into ball maths. That's the only function I can see as to why you have to move from your measured to then take it to this celestial horizon, which requires a recalculation. It's a little bit like when they were doing the measuring the distance to the moon via angles, and they have to then change the angles, fit it into their model. So they have to manipulate the reality figure that you actually take and put it in because we're on a ball. And that appears to me what they're doing there.
Yeah, good point. Nathan, I sent you one more picture just now. Can you put this up? This is an actual navigator who teaches the sextant and how to navigate by it. Tell me when it's up.
Yep.
You see it? Say, all right, so you see this hand drawing, and you could see his finger pointing to the horizon. And it's exactly what the other pictures typify. But where's the ball here? Here's an actual navigator saying, this is where you aim your sextant to, this horizon. And then you could see the zenith at 90 on the right angle. So it's far and few between all these drawings. It's so basic, but they, as Adam says, they make the circle to give you the impression you're on this ball, and they got this weird angle down to the horizon as if you're looking straight down when you're at only 10 to 50 feet above the water. You're looking at you got to account for that. That's the dip, but it's not the way the pictures show that mentally construct that we're on the ball. That's fakery right there.
Excellent. Anyone got anything to add?
The other thing I found odd about that attempt is that if you think about observations on land, you don't add your altitude. Just take that angle, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's with hills and mountains. I remember watching one episode of they say don't use a sextant and sight it to land or on land. I can't remember right now, but you triggered something in my mind where something else has to happen, is what they say, because you don't have a flat horizon.
Very good. Thank you for that, 10th man.
My pleasure. I'm learning.
That horizon you were looking at, was that an apparent horizon?
Yeah, owning a boat in my life, every time I went towards it, it kept moving.
Ah, all right. So that means it would lack any sort of geometry to it.
That would be correct.
Copy that. It's weird because there's geometry in the model. So something's not matching up.
Right, I'm going to do a quick shout out to Maulwin, who says, say my name. Thank you very much for the super chat, Maulwin. Really appreciate your support. Also, Al Jungi, who says, all day I dream about sextant. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat, Al Jungi and Maulwin.
He said, all day I dream about sextant.
Yeah, it's Adidas.
Adidas.
Yeah, Adidas, yeah.
Yep.
All day I dreamed about science.
Is that the body of science?
Yeah, sextant.
Ew, body of science is not very sexy.
Check. 1 2 1 2.
Not since Rumpus played it out.
Oh, well, clear the airwaves. Got chemo.
Hi, yeah. So I've just made a new video concerning the Black Swan, trying to help globers understand why they're not able to measure the physical horizon, because they asked the question.
Afternoon, Spurs.
What?
Oh, what? Hold on.
Afternoon.
You just saying hello?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought he was going to give
Carry
us a
on,
chance
yeah?
to say hello before he.
No, he's got straight into
hi,
it. He's
Albert.
keen. He's keen.
Right into business immediately.
No,
Don't ruin his flow. Hello. Go ahead, Spurs. Carry on.
yeah. Where was I? So concerning the Black Swan and the obstruction. So ball earthers are like, okay, so if it's not physical, what is causing the obstruction? So I found a term called turbidity, which is suspended matter. I don't know if you could play my video. It's only a couple of minutes long. It just shows how the atmosphere changes. It's constantly moving, and it gives the impression that it's a physical horizon. Is that possible at all?
I'll look it up. Give me a couple of minutes if you can fill while I look for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, because like I say, we've got that picture from Mitch. I think it's from Mitch there, where he shows the same height, same position, just a different day, and we can see the platforms obstructed, and then we can see the horizon behind the platform. So this is obviously confusing globe earthers quite a lot, because they actually think they can actually take a physical measurement to that horizon point there. So I think that's where the confusion comes in a lot, because for them, if it's obstructed, it must be physical. So if I can just show them or explain how the atmosphere is suspended, this is called suspended matter. So it'll be there for a day, it could be there for an hour. That's why I don't know if you remember when Soundly showed his curvature. The request was, Soundly, if you were to be there for 7 days, 5 or 7 days, and time lapse or just show us constant recording, you would see that bridge change elevation, position, location. He simply wouldn't do it. He was going when he chose the time, the date, specific angles, and all these kind of things. So hopefully, I'll post it in the master.
Is that
Spurs.
the Lake
Imagine
Pontchartrain?
Soundly. My bad, Tiffany. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chocolate. I was wondering, is Soundly the guy who did the Lake Pontchartrain picture from the 15th floor of the Marriott Hotel?
Yeah, Soundly, yeah.
Yeah.
Through the double pane glass window that he couldn't open.
Yeah, that's Soundly, yeah. So we said to him, look, well, Soundly,
go ahead.
If what you're showing is real, then you should get that observation, every single day, all day, every day. And he wouldn't do it. He simply wouldn't set up shop basically at that bridge and show that it curves like that every single day. So
Spurs,
now we have a term for it.
Spurs,
Go.
Your channel's called Under No Pressure, correct?
Yeah.
I think I've been unsubscribed. I haven't got you on my list. You'll have to send me the link and I'll have to resubscribe to you because I'm not subscribed. I haven't unsubscribed from you. I know I'm subscribed. Stick me a Master B, but it looks like I've been unsubscribed.
Yeah, YouTube there. All right, let me post this there.
That's annoying. It's not like I don't watch either. I've literally taken clips from your channel and published them with like an advert saying go and subscribe to Spurs, he's ace. Because you're ripping people a new one with the Black Swan, right? And so it's not like I would have been unsubscribed because of lack of watching. Right.
That's fine. It just happened. I've been unsubscribed to channel.
Okay. Right, let's stick it on. Let's get it nicely framed first. So this is, let's just give you a proper plug first. So this is Spurs Schemo's channel, Under No Pressure. Yeah, you see, I'm not subscribed. Subscribe. Because... There we go. I'm subscribed again. Happy days. Do you need audio for it?
Probably, because I just explained I mean, it's a bit of a monologue, but I'm just explaining that what turbidity is. And it kind of goes with the video to explain why you can't see forever. And it just explains why you can't measure it. So you've got two things here. You can't measure the turbidity, the suspended atmosphere, and you can't see forever because the atmosphere is suspended, as it were.
Of the observer height in feet cubed. You see, we have an idea, a big idea, an idea so big that it would require your head, plus a scientist, plus a technician, plus a mathematician, and the head of a geodetic server. And even with all of these heads, the idea still may be too big to shoehorn in. I propose you, the glober, are confused. You don't understand because you think the horizon is physical. It's not. To help you understand where you are going wrong, how you are wrong, and why you will always be wrong, you need to understand turbidity. Turbidity, the quality of being cloudy, opaque, or thick with suspended matter. Thus, at certain moments of the year, certain distant reliefs are almost always hidden by atmospheric turbidity. Earth to glober, do you copy? The horizon you were measuring or attempting to measure is actually made up of suspended matter. Suspended matter that sometimes obstructs objects bottom up. Suspended matter that will reflect objects given the appearance of refraction or looming. Suspended matter that will never position itself static so it can be calculated from an observer's location. Geometry is now bankrupt. Height to horizon is meaningless. Height of an object beyond the imaginary horizon is redundant. Height of observer is illogical. I repeat, height of observer is illogical, resulting in globers not being able to physically pinpoint the physical horizon, rendering all calculations concerning horizons are empty, purposeless, futile. Let that sink in. Face the fact that you, the glober, cannot locate the actual physical horizon. You cannot proceed to make measurements for something that does not actually exist. So we can do this the hard way or the easy way, because whether you like it or not, you yourself are never going to be able to demonstrate practically that you live on a surface that curves. Follow the black swan.
So that is, as I say, Under No Pressure. The video name is Flat Earth Game over Glober Turbidity Suspended Matter, as I say, on Spurs Gimo's channel, Under No Pressure. Thank you very much indeed for sharing that, Spurs. Excellent stuff.
Thank you.
See, the black swan has inspired you, huh, Spurs? I love
Absolutely.
it.
I
Earth
mean,
to Glober. Do you understand?
Me thinking, it's got me thinking because the ball earthers, well, they ask, well, what is the obstruction then? What is blocking platform, sun, mountain? I'll try to give them an answer. Hopefully this will help them with that answer. What do you think of it? What do you make of that as being cause for the obstruction? Because if we're looking for cause, obviously I haven't done an experiment, but I'm hypothesizing that we have an effect where the ship is disappearing. Oh, Rumpus is here. We have an effect. So they say the cause is curvature, physical, actual curvature. I would say it's this suspended matter, as we've seen.
Just going to shout out Rakia Life, who says, apparently I've been seeing an apparent horizon that apparently hides the apparent bottom of an apparent boat that apparently is going away. Thank you very much for the super chat, Rakia Life. Really appreciate your support.
Stuff.
Yeah, we know the horizon's not physical.
But knowing it's not physical is not enough for the baller.
They know that now too.
See, because they want to know what is the obstruction and why can't we see the bottom of a building? And I know you don't like to answer it. I mean, we kind of like.
He doesn't like to answer it. He's answered it with the brick illustration. Too far to see angular resolution from the bottom up. One single brick, 10 miles out.
Yeah, but what is in the way? Is it a physical thing, or is it light? Is it atmosphere, or is it suspended matter?
Have you heard that? Spurs might not have heard that example before. Have you heard that example given
But what
before?
makes you think that there's something in the way? Maybe the angle to that object or whatever it is just too small to pick up. You can't see it.
It's a lensing effect.
But let's think. If you like the piers, those platforms, they're not too small to see, but sometimes they are obstructed. Yes. So we can see the bottom of the piers when the suspended matter clears up. But when it's not cleared up, why can't we see the bottom of those piers?
Well, you've given us your answer already, Spurs, so we know what you think on this subject. Obviously, we've just played out your video. Just want to say hello to our new guest. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Nathan. How's everyone doing?
Very well indeed. How are you? Long time no see. What can we do for you?
Oh, nothing. Just wanted to join today. It's been a while. I like to join every few months. Just, every time the time changes, like for me, it gets earlier. So the show now for me starts at 8. And it used to start at 9. I could join a little easier. So just was listening this morning and then found that some of the topics interesting. And just wanted to join and say hi, really. No big deal.
Good to have you.
Nathan, maybe you could reacquaint us with the brick and the deck and the angular resolution and the diffraction limit.
Okay, I'll keep it as brief as I can. You take a brick, you put it out at a mile, and it'll vanish because it's too small to see. Simple. If you then build on top of that brick another 20 stories of a skyscraper, then the skyscraper will be visible because it has a larger angle, whereas the brick that disappeared has still got too small an angle to see, ergo bottom-up obstruction due to angular limitation at the narrowest of angle, which is at the bottom, closest to the deck. Simple.
Okay, so how do we wrap that up as a cause? What caused object disappear? Bottom
Well,
first.
In that instance, it's angular resolution.
Angular resolution is the
Correct.
cause of the obstruction.
Refraction.
Yeah, you can calculate it with the Rayleigh criterion. It's not to say that that's the only reason you're going to lose things from bottom up.
Utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, as Timmy, he's got a whole list. He's got a whole list of shit that makes things disappear bottom up.
Is much bigger than the angular resolution of your eye. Half of it disappears, or wind turbine, half.
Hold on, half of it would mean that you're taking half of the angle, though, wouldn't it? So if you're saying half of it disappears, then half of it has half the angular resolution.
We'd lose the top of a mountain.
It's just ignored me entirely then. So my demolition is going to be completely ignored. Just a small silence and a repetition of what you just said.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, just try shutting up.
No, I was talking and you interrupted me.
Well, let's try again. See if you can actually listen a second time, or if you just talk through every word so you don't have to address it. So if you're saying half the mountain, well, that would be half the angle. Half the size in angle. That's what we're talking about. Well, the lowest section has the smallest angle, because you can then halve that again and halve that angle and halve that, and you get smaller and smaller angles towards the bottom. Very, very simple. The smallest angle being at the bottom.
You could say the top half has got the smallest.
You could say that, but the top half's got a wider angle because it's not near the deck.
Doesn't make any difference.
Oh, well, the deck's the thing that's limiting your angle, so it does make a difference, you complete retard. You're obviously stupid if you think that the thing that you can't see through, which would be the deck, doesn't affect the angle. It does. The sky, however, doesn't limit your angle because there's nothing to limit it, you complete retard.
The only thing limited is the curve of the Earth.
Oh, the only thing is the curve of the Earth, is it? Well, no. Fog can bring my horizon closer. That's not Earth curve, but your calculator only has one cause asserted. That would be the R value that's been debunked by the Black Swan. You no longer have an R value to give you a physical geometric sphere edge horizon. It's been debunked.
No, it hasn't.
Oh, right. Well, that hand wave's not going to cut it, mate. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon measurement must be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And we've demonstrated unequivocally that it's way beyond that in multitudes of Black Swan images where the horizon is way beyond what it should be if you have a geometric horizon. So you don't have a geometric horizon. As a consequence, we are told, we do not see the geometric horizon. Or in the case of Rumpus, we do have a geometric horizon. Well, we don't have a geometric horizon. Well, we do, we don't. We do, we don't. That's what we get from you because you're a clown.
Why are you ignoring refraction?
Refraction
Which one is it today,
refraction would be chocolate. Can you not rumpus every bit of this conversation? Thanks. So refraction would mean deviated from straight, and a geometric horizon would be drawing a straight line to a tangent point on a presupposed curve. So if you're dealing with refraction, you don't have a tangent line.
You have where the curve, the ray of light falls.
That's a lot of stuttering and mumbling. Yeah, I'll just say it again. If you have light that is deviated from straight to the horizon, then you do not have the capability of drawing a straight line to a tangent point, because you don't have a straight line.
Should we try taking turns, Nathan? How about taking turns?
Why don't you suck my balls? Should we take turns in you first sucking my balls and then me laughing at you? How about that? Should we do that? Or you can listen to every word I've got to say that demolishes your religion, and you're not going to get to talk through every word of it and then moan that you haven't had your chance to speak. If we're dealing with refraction, something that I'm going to repeat 3 times and you're going to ignore and then moan and not listen to or acknowledge in any way, then we don't have a tangent. That would be a straight line. If it's refracted, that by definition means deviated from straight. If you continue to talk through me, meaning that the Discord server can't hear anything that I say, ultimately meaning that you will not address what I've just pointed out 3 separate times, I'm going to have to remove you, Rumpus, because you're not listening to my rebuttal. Which is, why would we ignore refraction? If we're dealing with refraction, we don't have a tangent. You're ignoring that.
Mine is
Yeah, it seems you're just filibustering the Discord server so that you don't have to address me. So now I'm going to remove Rumpus, and I'll justify why. I've demolished his point. I've given him a rebuttal. Why aren't we worrying about refraction? We are. If we're told by you that the horizon is refracted, then it's not geometric, because that would require a tangent line. Now, unfortunately, Rumpus doesn't want to contest that because he can't. He hasn't got a rebuttal for that. So instead, what did he do, Neil? Did he listen to my 3-time rendition? Did you hear any of my rendition that I just gave for a 4th time? Neil.
Thank you for that. Was
I'm asking Neil something. He's on mute though. Neil, 3 times I repeated my rebuttal. Did you hear it, apart from just then when I gave it for a 4th time, having removed Rumpus?
Mic check.
Hey, Righteous. Wonderful timing, Neil.
Hey,
I just
I
need
can't hear.
Audio issues.
anybody in the Discord server. I just need an affirmation from somebody who did or didn't hear a word I said because Rumpus didn't shut up, so he didn't have to actually challenge my rebuttal. Just carry on with his own point.
He was just talking.
Go ahead, Mr. Reality. Or leave completely dead air.
Hey Nathan, you know I usually listen to the show on the stream.
I don't care. Shut up. Shut up. I want somebody in the Discord server to clarify whether or not they heard my rebuttal repeated 3 times, or did Rumpus merely talk the entire time so he didn't have to challenge my rebuttal?
Nathan, I do
purposely
see
Rumpus, to be honest.
No,
He was
Arwen's
just talking.
decided that he's going to interrupt this that I've tried to get for the last 3 straight minutes. Can I just have it once from anybody in the panel? I give up. Forget it. Who gives a shit? You're all useless.
I've seen Neil lighting
Shut
up
up,
to try and say
Arwen!
something.
God, for God's sake! I'm trying to talk to the Discord server. Isn't that clear?
I heard you, but
Isn't that been laboured? Jesus wept.
I heard you, Nathan. But I had Rumpus muted already, so it was that.
This was just talking. Whenever you talked, he would talk at the same time. You had to,
Thank the Lord.
Thank you. Thank God, whoever that was. Thank you very much. I just need to illustrate to the audience that when I close down the Discord line so that I can be heard, Rumpus is continuing to talk, and then when I open it up because I finished my statement, he continually is talking and hasn't listened to a single word I've said. That's the reason he does it. Then he'll go on, had it have continued, to moan that I'm shutting him up. In reality, he's talking through what I'm saying so he doesn't have to address it. At the moment, it is pretty much their only tactic when they're losing, and then complain about the mute button. So I'm not going to listen to this rebuttal. I'll talk through it constantly, and unless you allow me to talk through it constantly, I'll moan that I've been prevented from doing that. That's their only tactic currently.
Right. So now I'd like to give out a technical report as to what I'm analyzing.
No, hold on a
watching the
second. Is Chris
server.
Berry there?
You know, I'm watching the server and there's a lot of blinking going on, no sound coming through. So I'd like to advise some of these people to re-log in.
My mic
because
working?
there's no sound coming through.
Yes, it is, QE.
Is Chris Berry here?
Yeah,
He's
I'm here.
Yeah, did you see Master B's? You see my message?
No. From right now?
Scroll up about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's a message addressed to you. That's all I had to say. Go ahead, Arwen.
Okay. Right. So I'm just telling people in the server to re-log in because I do see them light up in the visuals of the live stream on YouTube, right? But there's no sound coming through. So yeah, Discord's known to be weird like that. So if you're not coming through auditorily wise, then just re-log in. That was all.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask, Nathan, I'd like to ask you a question. What does deviate from straight mean?
Not straight.
Okay, what is a tangent line? I've got it on screen, by the way. What is a tangent line?
Straight line that meets a curve at a point.
So
the point
so
it
if
meets. The point it meets is the tangent point. The line itself is the tangent line, or just tangent.
So if it's deviating from straight, it's not a straight line, so it's not a tangent. Okay, I'm just making sure I understand that.
Correct. So in answer, correct. So well summarized. So in answer to Rumpus's question, why don't we take into account refraction? Because when we take into account refraction, it debunks your heliocentric model because it's geometric and requires a tangent to your horizon based on R. So if it's refracted, deviated from straight, not straight, you don't have geometry, and your entire claim is based on geometry. With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, however, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!